Feedback Friday is brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com, your destination for all the hottest wrestling t-shirts at low prices with super fast shipping. ProWrestlingTees.com also houses the full line of PWR merchandise in the PWR shop, along with the all-new line of Macho Man and Andre the Giant t-shirts. Each week, one lucky winner will win a free tee, so stay tuned to find out if you're this week's winner.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to hashtag Feedback Friday, brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero here on Friday, May 30th, 2014. What?
Damian,
what?
It is Fish Fry Friday.
No, it's Feedback Friday.
The fans want the fish fry.
Feedback Friday.
I think you spelled Friday, fish fry wrong.
Feedback Friday.
I'm wearing the Aquaman shirt.
Feedback Friday.
Just for Fish Fry Friday.
You don't have good retention, do you?
Huh?
You don't have good retention, do you? Memory?
Retention.
You don't hold on to things?
I'm pretty flexible.
Like, do you remember that crap show that you presented last week with your friend Kenny Starmaker Bolin here on this very program?
I apologize, you ungrateful. Wow, that was something else, wasn't it?
Well, something else, but he pales in comparison to our guest next week right here on hashtag Feedback Friday, a guest who we will disclose tomorrow night on Primetime Wrestling.
I hear you're coming out with a new t-shirt.
Am I?
Yeah.
What's it? Frank didn't tell me.
The hashtag Rooster Lollipop.
I don't understand what that means. Rooster Lollipop?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't like chickens.
You'll figure it out.
Oh, you assume I like chicken. Roosters.
No. Rooster Lollipop. What's another word for rooster?
Chicken.
What's another word for lollipop?
Sucker.
There you go.
Maybe our guest next week's just going to replace you. Damn, he'd be a good replacement as well.
Maybe like having Max Headroom sitting at my chair.
It's about the same as what we've had every week for the last few.
You're calling me
spoil
Max
much?
Headroom? What? You're too much.
I'm too much. I could at least hold on to information without spoiling it out there, spilling it out there. Are you the one providing the sheets with all the info?
No one knows who Max Headroom is.
Everybody knows who Sledgehammer is.
Peter Gabriel.
Big time.
Yeah.
PWR is the most watched wrestling talk show on YouTube with well over 13 million viewers since 2006, and we welcome all of your comments on all of our videos. Let's get to some comments left on last week's broadcasts from PWR. First one comes to us from Anumbis Ra, who says the following regarding last week's episode of The Greatest Ever.
He's a Numbus.
And I quote, "I think Bully Ray should be on this list and among the best heels. A heel needs to be able to sell you on the fact you hate him and want to see him not only lose, but beaten and humiliated. From his cussing out and threatening fans in ECW to the point of getting death threats and things thrown at him, to his WWE stint where he put Mae Young through a table, to his current TNA stint, he mastered the rude New Yorker image." I gotta say, I apologize for not giving Bully Ray an honorable mention because I have said many times on this broadcast, he is the best heel in the business right now.
In the business, yes.
In the business?
Yes.
So yeah, definitely Bully Ray deserves to be an honorable mention. Is he the greatest ever? Absolutely not. But is he the greatest right now? I think he is.
Oh, he's a babyface right now.
Was he the greatest up until this?
Yeah, he was.
This was turn number 733 for TNA this year, right?
It might be, yes.
Thank you for that comment. Regarding WWE's current business challenges,
You know who's the biggest heel on TNA right now, I think?
Who
It's
dat?
Kenny King.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
How so? So he was a dancer?
I just think so. I just think he's
Rhythm
the
is
biggest heel in the
dancer.
company.
Do tell. Explain.
Just got
Something
a hunch.
happened last night on Impact?
I just got a hunch.
Regarding WWE's business challenges that we talked about last week on Primetime, YouTube user Jay McClanahan420 says, and I quote, "I personally believe that WWE would be in better shape if they would give the fans what they want for a change, and they should go back to what brought them into the stratosphere in the first place.
They just gave them what they wanted.
And that's being a pro wrestling company. They're always trying to be something they're not.
They gave him Daniel Bryan as the champion. Isn't that what they wanted? Bryan doesn't win, we riot. Bryan doesn't get in the match, we're going to boycott WrestleMania. We're going to, what is that fancy hippie?
Sit in?
No, Occupy Raw gimmick. You know, they're going to take over Raw. They're going to do the whole CM Punk thing. They've given you what you wanted. You just don't appreciate it.
Oh, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Speaking of which, Donald Sterling sold the Los Angeles Clippers, at least a family trust did, for $2 billion to Steve Ballmer, who was CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah.
He bought the team for, I believe, $112 million.
Yeah.
A lot of people called for him to have to get out of the NBA and be barred and banned. Got that.
You know he's going to die soon. I mean, we're, 82, 85 years old? The shelf life has got to be short. I mean, he's tapping.
As a result of all
the
this,
Viagra he takes with that young whatever it is, come on.
As a result of this and his personal
heart.
conversation that was recorded and then used against him, he now stands to make a profit of $1.95 billion. What
do you think the
won?
taxes are on that?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he did that. Can you imagine what I lose if my conversations?
YouTube user Mr. J says, by the way, I do not support or actually agree with anything Donald Sterling said, but all of us scream about First Amendment rights and the right to privacy, and that's what happens to him.
Yeah, NSA did nothing to do about that, did they? Maybe it was NSA. Maybe that's how really Snowden. He did it.
YouTube user Mr. J says, and I quote, "I wouldn't blame the ratings entirely on Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's feuding with Kane, and even though the last match was decent, Kane isn't really a draw anymore. Bryan also hasn't been booked as a very strong champion, and the overall WWE product to the casuals just isn't there right now. I'm enjoying guys like Cesaro, Bad News Barrett, Wyatt, and The Shield, but the casuals have no idea who they are. Until Bryan returns, I think it's time to put the title on Jericho." We actually had this comment last week. How did I get back in there? Are you putting this in there again?
You know, I think sometimes Linda just copies and pastes stuff.
Control C, Control V?
Yeah.
See what the next one is here. Thank you for that comment again.
Control V is Donald Sterling's girlfriend, right? Because she controls with the V?
On the question of whether Ring of Honor or TNA is the number 1 or number 2 wrestling company, Ryan Dawn says, and I quote, "Until Ring of Honor gets a national television deal," they do, "there's no way you can call them the number 2 wrestling promotion. Most wrestling fans couldn't list any of their stars. Until that happens, TNA gets the nudge, no matter how questionable their storylines become."
Yeah, they got a good point there. You can probably name 5 TNA talents as opposed to 3 Ring of Honors.
Well, let's try it. Roderick Strong.
Okay.
Adam Cole.
Matt Hardy.
Michael Elgin. Matt Bennett. Maria.
Michael
Bennett.
See?
Maria.
You can't do it.
I did it.
Barely. You called Matt Bennett Matt Bennett. It's
It was
Michael
M's.
Bennett.
I put my M's together and I got them mixed up. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just named 5. Name me 5 TNA talents that you don't know.
That I don't know?
Kenny King, you've named 1. EC3. Rockstar Spud. The Bromans, there's 2. Zima. Mr. Anderson. Bully Ray. You can name just about the entire roster of 30 for TNA.
Yes, they have 33 now.
That completes our comments from YouTube this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a time out here and tell you a little bit about our friends over at ProWrestlingTees.com, who, by the way, tomorrow, David Hero, are going to have a big piece and big part of the JR show.
Yes.
JR's one-man show. It's going to be coming to the House of Blues, 2 p.m. in Chicago on the eve of Payback.
I'll be there. Will you be there?
I will be there
In
for
spirit.
a portion of the show, absolutely.
Well, the end.
Well, we're getting ready for Payback on Sunday. I got some preparation to do.
Wow.
But having seen JR's show, as a matter of fact, having moderated a show with JR as part of the panel in the past, this is definitely one you don't want to miss, ladies and gentlemen. Tickets at the door and tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
And the special guest he's going to have with him.
What else do you have to do on a Saturday afternoon than to go and see Jim Ross, the legend, at the House of Blues in Chicago? Be sure to check it out, folks. And we'll be back right after this with your comments from Twitter and this week's Then Line.
Be sure to visit our friends over at ProWrestlingTees.com for the latest and greatest wrestling t-shirts at awesome prices. Go now and you can see the all-new officially licensed Andre the Giant and Macho Man Randy Savage collections. You can also find the official PWR shop where you can get the all-new Nelson Family or the Super Friends shirt as well. ProWrestlingTees.com is your home on the web for the most unique and entertaining wrestling t-shirts designed and sold by pro wrestlers.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Actually, no, it's Feedback Friday. What's wrong?
I heard something.
Damian Nelson sitting alongside Dave Hero. And, well, each week on Twitter, folks, we give you the chance to tell us whether you loved or hated one of the week's big moments in wrestling. And this week, we draw a thin line between love and hate over the second live NXT special on the WWE Network, NXT TakeOver, which was just last night. There was, again, a lot of buzz for this live special, and now let's find out how you, the PWR audience, rated it. And, wow, this is a bit of a rout, if you will, David Hero. 97% of you loved NXT TakeOver, while 3% of you hated it.
How could they not like it? I heard it was fantastic.
Well, a few of the users went on to explain themselves further, and at Big FNHEC, Big F and Heck, said, and I quote, "No reason to hate, it's already better than Payback." And at BViper24 said, and I quote, "It will just be because they like to be different," regarding those that voted
That is true.
hated it.
Yeah.
We'll be polling you again next week, so be sure to follow at PWR Show on Twitter so your voice can be heard. Now, we're also going to talk in-depthly about NXT TakeOver tomorrow night on primetime on My24 Milwaukee and online right here on YouTube as well. We also received some other comments and questions from you on Twitter regarding our determination that Rowdy Roddy Piper was the greatest heel ever just 2 days ago. So let's take a look at those now. At KY Leonardo says, speaking of heels this week, which current WWE babyface would make the best shocking heel turn? Which current WWE babyface would make the most or best shocking heel turn?
Daniel Bryan. He'd have to be.
That'd be right along the lines of what CM Punk did.
No, wait.
Not the walking out.
They're two different kinds of guys.
Well,
Daniel Bryan is the, all-American white bread babyface.
CM Punk at the height of his popularity turned heel. Daniel Bryan's at the height of his popularity. That'd be the most shocking. Or would that be the best?
Most shocking.
What about Cena?
Nah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
People have been calling it for a long time. They've been asking for it. They've been wanting to see it.
At Joe and Raleigh said, I'm begging you to rethink your choice. Piper and Vince were great heels, but Ric Flair was pure evil. Well, let's out a woo after that.
No reason to beg. If you want to give me $100, I'll consider it, but no reason to beg for it.
And now for some comments on last week's very explosive Feedback Friday episode, which featured a appearance by Kenny Starmaker Bolin, who, by the way, will never, ever appear on this show again. At Saul Perez Jr., your good friend David Hero, Saul Perez Jr.
Who doesn't love Saul Perez?
Said, and I quote,
It's Saul Perez, not Saul.
it's Saul. Like
Saul.
Korea.
That's Soul.
Had to see Feedback Friday for myself. Looks like Damien got okey-doked by Starmaker.
What does that mean?
Hashtag
What's an
ungrateful
okey-doke?
bastard. I think it has something to do with our truth.
Okey-doked?
Okey-doked by Little Jimmy. Where's Little Johnny?
First of all, if you're okey-doking Little Jimmy, that's a
Okey-doked
Chris
by
Hansen
Little
moment.
Jimmy. And where is Little Johnny?
I don't know. Have you seen? I don't know.
Maybe he got disassembled.
Well, you know what? I'm sure Child Protective Services decided to step in and say, you can't take this young lad on the road.
At Big Trent 07 said, and I quote, all I can say about tonight's Feedback Friday, referencing last week, is heat.
Heat. It was kind of warm in
There's
here.
no heat. That Bolin was a large, rude, obnoxious gentleman.
Why do you gotta say he's large?
He referenced his weight.
Did he?
He said he's a big man. He knows it.
He's a manly man.
I'd listen
He's
to
a
the
man and a
interview.
half. I did too.
He's half a man.
I couldn't believe some of the things he said to you.
Well, next week, our guest here on Feedback Friday will definitely have some things to say to Kenny Starmaker Bolin.
Fantastic. I can't wait.
Keep those tweets coming in and be sure to use the hashtag PWRTV or Feedback Friday in your comments.
It's Fish Fry Friday. Can we do a Fish Fry Friday once? We got the big
Perch,
fishing
catfish?
pond. I'll have the lake perch. You can have the catfish. We got the fishing pond out back here.
Who's going to have the pork and beans and wieners?
Linda? Well, there's three of us. I'm having the perch. You're having the catfish.
Speaking of Linda, let's take it to Linda to close this out. Thank you so much for joining us here at Feedback Friday. We'll see you tomorrow night on Primetime, where we announce our guest for next week's episode of Feedback Friday. Take it away, Linda.
Whatever. But congratulations to this week's winner of a free wrestling tee from ProWrestlingTees.com. Twitter follower at BigTrent07. Thanks for your comments, and we look forward to giving away another tee next week. But before that, we have Primetime TV tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central, where we bring you the Be the Booker for WWE Payback and a look back at the week in pro wrestling. Thanks for tuning in to Feedback Friday, brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com.